Yo, 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 yo. We're back on a Wednesday. A Wednesday. What's up, man? What's up, Leroy? What's good?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in the spirit, man. Let's do it, man. Let's
Yeah,
do
we
it.
we,
How
we
you
were
feeling?
thinking about, we back on a Wednesday. I think we've been this the third or fourth Wednesday in a row. So we're trying to get consistent with these Wednesday deals. And I think we're gonna go Wednesdays. I know people have been asking about it for a while. What's up with Wednesday, man? Why y'all stop doing the Wednesday joint? So if the people ask, we
Right,
shall
right.
oblige. But what we want to do though, so just for the audience to
Yeah.
understand, we want to make the shows different. So we're not, the weekend rhyme is really just to talk about any new music that was released on Friday, anything that happened over the weekend, consistent, giving you some
Yep.
breakdowns, some lyrics. But Wednesday's show is something we were doing with Ron Vay back in the day, something similar to that, where we talk about things around the culture on the periphery. And we'll have about 5 topics, and we'll have Super Duper on, and we'll have Leroy on, and we'll just kind of chop it up where it just makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So
We
that's
s-
where
we
we at
still
with it.
gonna talk rap. We still gonna talk rap, y'all. And I'm here. I'm missing a battle right now. My guy Chilla Jones, one of the greatest battlers ever. He's battling right now. I'm going, but I'm here with y'all. You know what I mean? But we go ahead, Ron. We still gonna talk rap. I just don't want to make it seem like we're not gonna talk rap. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
You hear
so
me?
so yeah. So yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we got a good show for you guys today. We're gonna touch on Jay-Z a little bit. Super Duper will be in the building. Also want to give you a preview. I know we talked about it last week. Album of the year. We want to talk about songs of the year too. Get into that a little bit. And also
Okay.
talk about we want to talk about some movies, man. We'll talk about The Last Dragon. We want to know if The Last Dragon was a hip hop movie. So let's start off the show back to Jay-Z. The recent developments, the NFL has released a statement through Roger Goodell, and apparently they're gonna stick by his side. And to me, it is what it is.
I mean, you ready for me to go?
I'm ready for you to go.
I mean, when I first started this show, I was the J head, right? My comments wasn't always me with the Rock Nation hat. It was a Falcon before, but people was like, "Oh man, this guy is the biggest Jay-Z fan." So I switched the avatar with the hat. Well, standing with people like Jay needs to step down, the NFL and all that. Folks, we don't step down. We step up. I'm not from the era of running. I don't know. I made this era is like running and folding and hiding. I'm not with the hiding. So with the Rock, now I'm gonna go ahead and stand with the Rock today, man. You know what I mean? Because all I know from Jay over these years is integrity, and being real. So I'm gonna stand with the Rock. Rest in peace, Nikki Giovanni. Who Nikki Giovanni, she had a famous conversation with James Baldwin back in the day. If y'all know what that is, she talked about the woman's plight. So this is no disrespect to the women. We love the women, but I'm gonna stand on it. I'm not gonna fold. And I applaud the NFL for not folding. You know what I mean? Because that's not what it's about. A lot of people, they go to running and hiding and folding, and I see that a lot in hip hop a lot. Every time it's a problem, y'all start running and scattering. I don't understand what the running's about, and I don't understand how a person could be out here for a generation building a brand and in 20 and giving us moments that we love. I remember turning on the TV and seeing Jay-Z in Africa carrying a bucket of water for a village somewhere years ago. You know what I mean? But I can't figure how we watch somebody build a brand in 30 years and in 24 hours we just dump this person away for something we heard. You know what I mean? Now we can get into that too because I know people have their own feelings of that. I don't have a law degree, but what I do know is the difference between right and wrong. So I'm gonna go really slow, not to diss nobody, no nothing. Y'all ask me any question y'all want to ask. I'm gonna go really slow, and we're gonna ask ourselves whether this situation looks like it makes sense or it look like it don't make no sense. Now I'm not. I'm gonna let y'all ask, and I'll just give y'all short answers on that. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know. because this man has put up too much integrity. This man has put up too much backbone in the culture. The man doesn't inspire too much entrepreneurialism, if I'm saying it right. You know what I mean? The man doesn't inspire people to not be cowards. You know what I mean? To not run when it's a problem. You stand up. We don't sit down. And you know what I mean? And I know people are gonna be like, well, no, and all this broad brushing. Oh, well, these people, they worship the devil. We don't rock with the devil. We represent God. That's who we represent. And I ain't talking about in the Hove sense. In the Hove sense, I'm talking about God for real. We stand on that time. So all this talk about the devil and all that, we don't stand on that time. We stand on God time. You know what I mean? And if I'm lying, strike me dead right now. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into it. You know what I
Yeah, I
mean?
mean, I think it was interesting that the NFL, released a statement, and I know that they're going to be, Rock Nation's had that relationship for many years doing the Super Bowl. I know Beyonce's doing the Christmas halftime show in Houston on Netflix with the NFL, the first NFL game on Netflix. So the relationship is deep from a business perspective. But again, I think it's what they said kind of echoes what we said and what others have said about letting the process play out and before you jump to a reaction. Because again, I think Servon said it on Monday. We don't know all the facts, and I just hate to see people so quick to jump out the window to say this person did X, Y, and Z when we just don't know. So
We don't know all the facts, but we do know some facts, right? This person is like, hey, you need to pay me because I say so. Now, in whose mind does that make sense? Just a question. You need to pay me because I say so. Not because you lost a trial, not because I presented evidence, not because I showed proof, not because you even ever known my name, not because I've ever showed my face, not because I've built up a reputation of integrity that is the equivalent uh to your integrity. I need you to pay me because I say so. Now, y'all that want to fold under them type of conditions, I'm I'm I don't know. I don't know where that makes sense. You don't nobody, and then also the notion that I'm supposed to fold against a shadowy figure, an empty chair. There's no one, picture a courtroom. There's no one in the chair. And I'm getting a message from their lawyer saying I need to pay them something, and I'm looking over in the chair and there's nobody sitting there. Now, how? Now, show me if I'm wrong. If I don't know the system, I don't know the law. Somebody tell me how that makes sense. There's nobody sitting in the chair, and now we all supposed to go to running. Excuse me. Now we can get into the details of the matter too. You show up. Somebody dropped you off at a concert when you was 13. Then a limo driver's like, "Hey, I know I can introduce you to Diddy because he likes girls such as yourself." And then at an award show, nobody sees you. No, there paparazzi everywhere. There's no. We don't even know who you are. All this took place. Nobody saw nothing, did nothing. Your father comes to get you. He ain't got no questions. Nothing is out of the ordinary. You pulling up to mansions in Manhattan, or you know what I mean? Like, to y'all, maybe this makes sense to y'all. But if I'm tripping, well then somebody can explain to me how this makes sense to y'all and why we should be folding. We should throw out 30 years of legacy for 48 hours of you just of a empty chair talking. Now, again, this is no disrespect. What I'm saying is help me understand why that makes sense to y'all. And not just y'all, but people in the media, people outside. Why does this scenario sound like it makes sense to you? Because I've been alive for a long time. And this don't really make no sense to me. You know what I mean? Now, if you make a claim, you got to stand on it. we're in a world now where we're making claims that we don't stand on, and we don't even identify ourselves. We just say you need to pay me because I say so, and then everyone's supposed to say, okay, you did something to me, pay me because I say so. Okay, like help it. Now, am I tripping? If I'm tripping, y'all let me know, and I'll fall back so you could tell me that I'm tripping. But I need to know how this makes sense.
Yeah, and again, like I said, again, I'm going to go from the point perspective is we just don't know, and I think everyone should just be afforded an opportunity to defend themselves when things get levied toward them. I'm not the one to jump out of pocket and say, "Oh, I never understood why people would say, "Oh, you're next," and he did this and he did that, and we don't know any. You don't know these people for real. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we know them through their music, and we know them for some interactions you might have had with them here and there, but we don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
We know people through their music, and we can only that's what we can take from face value. But
We do know Jay-Z. We don't know him personally, but if y'all act like you don't know nothing about Jay-Z in 30 years, I think that's cap. And I don't mean you, Ron. I just mean in general. For us to say we don't know Jay-Z out of 30 years of listening to his music, I think we know enough. Now people say, why don't you have this energy for Diddy? Diddy was on camera, and we know who Cassie is. I don't know if people understand the difference between seeing something and knowing who Cassie is, and then not knowing who a person is at all. I don't think people know the difference of why. And I don't think people understand that proof matters, because in this generation, it's all about the claim, but no proof is needed. When you ask people for proof now, because people talk all kind of claims, and you be like, can you prove it? They look at you that like you're absolutely insane for not believing them. This era, you're supposed to just believe it because someone's mouth is moving. I don't understand how. My generation, when somebody said something, they'd be like, can you prove it? That's the era I come from. This generation is just, oh, well, just believe it because you heard it. I never understood that type of thinking. Just believe anyway. Now, again, for Jay-Z's integrity is involved. If someone's to say that we haven't witnessed that, I don't know what you're talking about. The songs are there. This type of issues are there, and where he stands on egregious acts. You know, that's in the music. You know what I mean? So it's like, and I know people. Well, everyone in the entertainment business is evil. This everyone thing, I think that is a lazy argument. You know what I mean? Everybody in entertainment is evil. I think people like that don't know what they're talking about. 50 Cent. 50 Cent is out here too, still talking. Again, 50 Cent. We respect you, 50. Where was this energy when the game was outside? When the game was on your neck, you didn't have this energy, and you still don't have this energy. The game wants a fade. The game just wants a fade. That's it. You have not given this man the fade.
I
So
mean, I don't
50,
think I don't
I'm
think
gonna
he
need
was.
you to
I
relax.
don't think he was going to do that. I mean, you got to understand, man.
50,
He
the
graduated
game
to a.
been
He's
the
a
game
business.
been rushing you.
He's a
The
businessman
game
at this
been
point.
rushing you along. The game shut down your rapping career. He shut down G
No,
Unit. He shut down your the game stopped your run. Y'all don't believe me? Look at before 300 bars. Now everybody go look at 50's career and the G Unit's career before 300 bars. Shortly after 300 bars, I need you to look at 50 and G Unit's run.
what year did 300 bar? I want to push back on that a little bit. What year did 300 bars come out? Because
Whatever it was, he crippled your run, 50. You had to 50. Respectfully, you didn't have this energy with the game. You didn't. You did. You just didn't. You just didn't. You just didn't.
nah,
So
I
go
don't think
talk. Go talk to the
I don't
game.
think because he 50's still going though. You look at his business adventures in Shreveport. You look at
Game didn't shut down his TV business. Game shut down his rapping business. After Game went in, people was not tripping off you rapping 50. Respectfully. Cause Richard Die Trying is still a classic. The Massacre is still an incredible album. The G Unit mixtapes, incredible projects. So this is not a diss. But when the game was rushing you, you had no comments. You fell back. And then the game was outside for years. Like, can we run the fade? He wasn't talking about going crazy. He wanted to run the fade. You didn't want to run the fade. So 50, I'm gonna need you to relax. That's all. That's
Hey,
all, my brother.
we
You know
got
what
we got
I mean?
super duper in the building. 50. I said, Leroy, you really messing up my 50 interview right now, man. But anyway, you really messing it up,
I
B.
no,
You,
I can we could do that.
you,
Oh, you want to do the 50 interview?
you
Oh,
I
okay.
had it in
Okay.
emotion, but you really messing me up
No,
right
no,
now,
no.
B. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna reach now. The chances of him actually reaching back, I'm gonna be honest. But I will say something. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
look here, man. Leroy, this one of these occasions, I'm gonna have to agree with you to a certain extent, man. I think
Let's do it.
I think it's all bad the way that our culture have been so quick to like kick Jay back in over something that just sound like kind of unreasonable. Now, I mean, for me, it do sound unreasonable, but I'm not gonna jump out the window and say he incapable of doing that. Me, I've been one of the number one voices I know, at least on this podcast, that going at Jay for a lot of his movements and things
Right.
that he has done, you know what I'm saying, to other people. So but you know what, man, I'm not gonna put this on Jay-Z though, man. I can't
Yeah.
do it. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna say I hope it's not true. And that's really what, what I'm saying. I hope it's not true. I hope this man
Right.
ain't that damn weird, like
Right.
behind
Right. Right.
closed doors. You know what I'm saying? That's really my biggest thing with it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think it's been embarrassing to be on the internet and watching all these people, like I said, just be so quick to just kick Jay back in, like, and half of
Yeah.
these people don't even really believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like
But
it
I'm
don't really sound
yeah.
believable, but it's just like they joining the bandwagon. I mean, Jay
Right.
is, he I can't speak for Jay character because that's one of my knocks on Jay is his character. And
Yeah.
so,
But this
you
is
know what I mean? Like,
crazy
but
though.
but it's different though. You know what I'm saying? Like
This is
that's like
crazy.
this to me, this is bigger than rap. You know what I'm saying? And like a lot of people is making this about rap. I mean, I've been seeing people even like putting Nas in the comments and breaking up Nas. Like, why are we talking about Nas right now? Like this ain't come on, man. This is bigger than rap right now. And
I mean,
I think
if someone,
we should
if yeah, if someone says something reasonable, I'm not gonna argue with reason. That's what I'm saying. Like, if I hear a reasonable take, then I'll listen and I'll say, okay, that's reasonable. But if you're not even gonna give me a reasonable take, like I, like I'm just supposed to believe an accusation just because I
I
don't
mean, me
understand. You
honestly,
know what
I know we seen the Cassie tapes and we seen what he did to Cassie and whatnot. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I don't believe none of that shit either until it come all the way out. So I mean, I'm gonna give Diddy the same type of credit I'm gonna give Jay until it's like totally out there and it's proven. You know what I mean? I mean, Diddy's a little bit different because he got other suspect behavior and he got the Cassie tape, he got the weird
I mean?
shit
Right,
that he's been doing throughout the industry for a very long time. But I'm still not just going, I've never been a Diddy fan or nothing like that. But,
right,
just as a black man and whatnot, and this ain't got this, I hate to say that shit but it always comes to the surface when I'm talking about this and it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like as a black man, I hope they didn't do this shit because I
right.
think it's embarrassing. It's a stain on hip hop. So I hope they didn't do this at all. But if they
Of
did,
course, yeah, of course.
they should get everything that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Yeah,
it's true,
absolutely, absolutely.
but with this Jay case, man, I mean, from what they saying, I agree with Jay, man. Throw that nigga under the jail if that's the case. Like why we want
That's
a civil lawsuit if you did something this crazy? You know what I'm saying? And
that's
it
what
ain't
I'm
no statute of
saying.
limitations on it. Like that should have
No,
been the
yeah,
first move. The police should have been raiding Jay-Z house. And then you got
that's what I'm
Jaguar White out here running her mouth on the internet and saying all this other wild stuff. I don't know if y'all heard that where she was, putting out her little
right,
allegations out there, but then want to take them back. And it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like all of this piling on ain't necessary. And, if it's true, it's gonna play itself out.
yeah. That's what if you're gonna say something so egregious, like this is over the top. We talking about the worst thing you could do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like. if we're talking about the worst thing ever, well then we need to go the criminal route on the court. You need to go to criminal charges and
Yeah,
court.
for sure.
If this is where you're going, you know what I'm saying? Because you're
Yeah.
talking about the worst thing ever. Now, if you just hiding and then talking about I need to litigate with you over some money, it's like come on. You're talking about the worst thing that a person could do. The least you could do is let's go all the way. Let's go all the way then. If
Yeah, I
that's what
mean,
you
yeah,
say.
I mean,
And all
yeah,
I'm
that's
asking is make your case. Can you just make your case? That's all, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Make your
yeah,
case, make it reasonable. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. As a grown person, you know how you're having a party and the kids come and try to look in to see what the grown folks doing, and you be like, man, go hang out with the teenagers. You know what I'm saying? That's because adults they see teenagers and they know that y'all can't be around alcohol and etc. Right? So this is not an easy task. Now people think that as a celebrity you could just move around and people don't see you. People see you. Like people,
yeah.
if you're a person like Jay-Z's stature leaving an award show, people see you. I'm just, you know what I
And
mean?
and
So
man, you know what else is like something that's really telling about like the times we living in and like how weird this internet shit can get. You know, people like praising the guy that shot that healthcare dude. You know what I mean? Like they got like fan clubs for him. They praising him on CNN. They showing sexy pictures of this dude with his shirts off and his abs and shit all out. And like, you know, he getting
right,
sympathy from the public, from them folks. If you really want to say that, it's them folks that's
right,
really giving us some sympathy. And this dude is a murderer. Not saying that, you know, allegedly, if this is even the right guy, but regardless if
yeah,
this is the right guy, you know, like people is giving this guy sympathy like left and right, and everybody else is just drop kicking Jay-Z back in off the top ropes. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that
that's crazy.
it's wrong. It's kind of
Now,
weird. Like he ain't facing no
I
crime.
will
He ain't
say
facing
this.
no charges.
Right, he's that guy's done. But I will say this, and I'm not excusing what he did, because what he did is also egregious. What I'm saying is, I think the people supporting him, I think they have their own medical stories. So when they hear his story, it's triggering their
Hey,
own
listen, like I
memories.
said, I get it.
You know
I
what
get it and
I'm
understand it. I do get it and understand.
saying?
Like I do
That's
understand
what
it. But what I'm saying is though that this dude murdered somebody. You know what I'm
I'm saying.
saying? Like,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm
no,
saying?
I
Like he
hear you.
actually
I hear you. Yeah,
he literally facing a criminal charge. If this is the guy
yeah.
allegedly,
Right, right, right,
if this is the guy, because they, you know, it's stories behind that. Like I said, I don't believe nothing. So you know, I don't even
right, right,
believe
right.
that I don't believe nothing until it's over. Like you got to prove something to me. I'm not just gonna run with the narrative and what I seen on the news or on the
Yeah,
internet, man. A lot of these people, they didn't watch a couple of YouTube videos and they didn't listen to Jaguar Riot or Choke No
right,
Joke or some internet detective, and now they think that they personally know Jay-Z, and they, you know, they think they just think they
right.
know so much, and they, you know, they play an internet detective, and I don't think that's cool, man. I think that I actually think it's anti-hip hop for the reaction that Jay-Z been getting from the fan base, knowing that this shit
Yeah.
sound kind of crazy and wild. And if it's true, then
Yeah.
throw the
I
throw the
mean,
um
across
throw
the
the book
board
at him.
though, across the board in any topic, when somebody says something wild to me, I'd be like, where did you get that from? Like I ask, you know what I mean? Like, where you get that from? Like, what I'm asking is like, can you show me some proof? That's what I'm asking. And it's like,
Yeah,
I ask that across the board. Like anytime somebody says something crazy about anybody or anything, I'd be like, where you get that from? Like, that's my first question. And
yeah.
now this generation is just like, if they hear something, they're like, oh yeah, I could see that. I could see that. And it's like, bro, you can't just run with anything you hear, especially something crazy. Like
Man, they
if you don't
watching
ask for
videos
some
from
type of proof, you know?
they watching videos half of the time of people that can't even hardly pronounce the names of the people who they talking about. Like it'd be some foreign dude like somewhere, and he'd be like Queen Latifah. Like, man, come on, man. Like you can't even say the names right. I'm supposed to listen to
Exactly.
you about
And
like,
even in the documents, even in the civil suit, right? The guy is talking about Mr. Combs, Mr. Combs, Mr. Combs. Sir, if you have an issue with Mr. Carter, Well, then focus on Mr. Carter. You keep saying Mr. Combs, Mr. Combs, this, Mr. Combs did that, Mr. Combs. Like, bro, take your frustration out on Mr. Combs, because you're
Yeah.
throwing in Mr. Carter. Maybe because you see both names as Sean. I don't know, but you need to figure out what you're gonna do, but it got to be real. I'm just asking for real. Why is this person, and no disrespect to whoever this person is, but a little disrespect, but why is her reputation more valuable than a man who I've been seeing out here 30 years? He has a reputation too. He's a father too. He got
I
a
mean, like,
daughter
I mean,
too.
Leroy, that's where I kind of disagree with you at. Like, you know, I know
Yeah.
what you're saying, and I get it that, you know, we all fans of Jay-Z. We grew up with Jay, and like you said, through the music, we feel like we know him, and he wouldn't do this. I mean, I don't
Right.
understand why he did that shit to Dame, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I can't
Right.
really perform like I don't like to talk like that just because I am like a fan of his music. I don't want to talk like that, like I just know him and I should trust him and he just deserve my full-fledged trust. I don't know Jay like that, so I don't want to go that far on it.
I
But
don't either.
I do doubt. Like the story just don't sound right, and that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave it at. Like I wouldn't care who this is. Like I wouldn't, you know, this could be this could be Eminem, and I wouldn't be down with this shit. And like I said, that's, you know,
Right,
and I
right.
don't like M's music at all. I'm not a fan of Eminem, but if they was trying to say that he did this, I wouldn't be just running
It's
down the
pretty
street like
crazy.
running with it, you know.
The reason why I say the lyrics of someone's music is a lot is because, like, when these artists go around, like, I never been around Jay-Z. I'll never claim that I was. That's not real. But a lot of these artists, when they go around, people come up to them like, yo, your music changed my life. Like, they hear that. So when you hear a person say, oh, your music changed my life, or your music sent me in the right direction, that lets you know that to them, it's like they do know the person. They don't know him as a friend. They know him as just a voice. You know what I mean?
No,
So
and I
it's
get
like,
it. I totally get
yeah,
it. You know, because I mean, I
yeah.
feel the same way that you're saying. Like I feel like, you know, through Dre's music and through, you know, like I just don't see him doing that, and that's just through the music and just through seeing him throughout these last 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean,
it just don't feel like nothing that he would do. But you know,
it,
people be
it, I'm gonna
surprised,
let you
man. I
cook
mean,
too, Ron. But just imagine, like, and I'm just speaking for me. Now, if I saw somebody hurting a child or assaulting a child, the level of rage that would come over me would just be insane. You know, I would hurt that person. So I don't know in what reality a child is being hurt and then somebody don't do nothing. You know what I mean? So I just don't put that on him like that. Now again, if somebody has a reasonable case, I will listen, but I just
hey,
have not heard that.
I'm gonna say this too. I think that Jay-Z done been in enough beef, like in the industry, and like, you know what I'm saying, like that if something like that was to like even happen, I don't think it would be able to be kept that's a secret that long. Like that
Yeah.
Puffy and Diddy did something like this at a party with a house full of people, and they just
Right.
chilling in the living room while he doing this, and
Right.
while they in there, you know, going ham on the child, and then like she runs out the room and all this weird behavior and all of these beefs, these rap beefs within the industry. I think we would have been heard something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like really, you know what I mean? Like
Bro,
so,
like the rappers
it
don't
is
like
what
each
it
other
is,
like
man.
that.
I
The
mean,
rappers don't really like
I
each
don't
other.
even condone the Foxy activity, but it's, you know, she denying it. It is what it is. Like I can't just make up in my mind that Jay-Z did something to her. If she's saying nothing happened, you know what I'm saying? She was an artist. It is what it is. Like I can't just force what I want to think in my mind
Exactly.
and then just make this a reality. A lot of people then just ran with a lot of stuff and just made this their reality and just like, yeah, he evil, he this, he that.
Right.
You know, I consider a lot of things.
Even with it, somebody saying NDA, even with an NDA, you're not getting that off. Like, people think in the industry, people just passing around NDAs. You're not getting that off. I'm sorry. Nobody's passing a 13-year-old an NDA. You ain't getting that off.
Yeah,
And
true.
then to have her sign it and then somebody file it and then somebody keep it. I'm sorry, you're not getting that off. You know what I mean? So people gotta, you know what I mean, use some reason.
I mean, but
like,
listen, man, you never know how far this will or how far this shit go, man. Like, you know, when you listen to the wording of the lawsuit, and you know, we don't know who that other person is that was supposed to be in that room. I mean, maybe they telling. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you look at what she's saying, I mean, she just was a witness, and maybe she'll be like, I was scared for my life. I thought they was gonna
I
kill
mean,
me,
make it
or you know what I mean?
reasonable.
Like, you never know
Make it reasonable.
you never know where this could lead, and like what stories could come out. But like I said, man, this ain't no criminal case either. So until he going to jail, until he facing a judge for this and about to get 35 years for the charge, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Like,
quick to believe nothing like this, man. I
the,
just
the
can't do it.
person doesn't want justice. Like, whoever this person is, they don't want justice. That's crazy. Like, two of the most popular, famous people on earth, you're claiming did something, and you don't want justice. You want a litigation for a payment amount. That is like, that's insanity. Because the first thing you should want is justice. The money going, you could got that anyway. You gonna get that as a result of the justice. But you should want people that done something to you to have justice dealt to them. Like, come on now. So if
Yeah, I
you
mean,
don't even you don't even want that, and then the way your lawyer's going about it and his reputation outside. When you go into this man's reputation, he's not, people don't trust him, they don't believe him. So this is the guy that you
yeah.
sending at, like, this is your guy. I help me understand. You know what I mean? Like, but it is what it is, man.
Let me
And
get to the
people,
super chat. Let me get to the
go
super
ahead.
chat real quick. LP, man, email me your number, man, so I can send you the link. 'Cause I know you want to hop on and say something. But Mad Max with super chat says Jay-Z this, Jay-Z that. Get off Jay-Z. Hove already cooked the haters. You know.
I agree though. I mean, I think so
Yeah.
too. You know what I'm saying? I like the response. I think that that's how you supposed to defend your damn self. Like, somebody try to put this on me, no, you ain't getting shit from me, and we going to court, and we going all the way. We gonna drag this out, because I don't even
Yeah.
listen. I think it for me as a man, like, it'll be the principle to me. I wouldn't care if this is the end of nobody said Jay-Z name again after this. If I'm Jay-Z, if I got to go down and fight this charge and this ruins my whole reputation and career, it's worth it for me. So I'm not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
just take nothing like this laying down. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck rap, fuck the fame. Like,
Fuck
my name
everything.
is more important than that. And I think that I agree with Jay-Z defending himself to the fullest, man, for sure.
For sure. Yeah,
I am
I'm
too,
saying,
man.
like,
And
certain
hopefully
crimes.
it's either gonna go one or two ways, right? It's either gonna go one or two ways. I hope this will deter. Hopefully, the truth will reveal itself either way it goes, and this will come to an end or some type of resolution. Or my
Yeah.
man in Houston gonna turn it up. That the floodgates are open now, and people gonna be coming out of the woodworks. So it's either gonna go one way. It's either gonna, he's gonna resume his business as normal. Whole Jay-Z can, go back to his, his business, his family, try to regain some of his reputation. Or my man in Houston's gonna double down, and there's gonna be some more people coming out.
Yeah, but
I don't know
this
which way,
this guy
because
think,
normally when these things happen, just me seeing it from the outside looking in, once they start, it's like now everybody come out with a story. You know what I mean? So it
but
never
y'all
it's
y'all
never just a one
expecting Jay
off
to be,
type
yeah,
deal. You know what I
he's
mean?
expecting Jay to be a weak sucker. I think y'all picked the wrong guy. I think you picked the
Yeah.
wrong guy when you thought Jay was gonna fold off a letter or off a accusation. I think you picked the wrong guy. This is not the guy that's gonna fold and run. Nah, not off
Yeah.
this.
I
Not
think
like
that,
Super was saying. This.
I'm actually, that's it's part of the reason why I slightly believe him too. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that he put that that letter out, or that whatever it was, that tweet or whatever it was, the statement, he put that statement out for the fans too. So don't get me wrong, like, he did put that out. It was manipulation, I feel like, there with it, because he knew that his real fans weren't gonna believe this shit. And I think that but it's good that he did come out, because you don't want to lose your base of fans and support, at least when it come down, like, if you're gonna do anything else after this, because we ain't, like, I'm not gonna drop him. Like, I ain't, this ain't no knock on Jay for me right now. This
But
this
like you were
don't do
saying
anything
though,
for
some
This
things
don't
are
do
bigger
anything
than
for his
music.
ranking all time, or this does nothing
Yeah.
for like. I'm not gonna stop listening to the music because of this, unless he's
Some
found guilty. But even if he's found guilty in this civil lawsuit, man, like come on, man, like this ain't. Is it even like he couldn't prove that? Like I don't get it. Like I still don't understand. I think that it's a dumb play by the attorney to even like come at him with money first. Before man, you're supposed to be going straight to the feds with this information. Jay-Z and Beyonce house and doors should have been kicked in if you was gonna come
exactly.
with this.
No doubt. We got a
And
special guest in the building. We got LP. LP wanted to speak on this, man. LP, what's good, brother?
what up, my guy?
You on mute, my G.
But like you were saying though, Super, even beyond the music and the fans, he got a daughter too. So if someone's coming like this, he thinking like, oh, you coming like this? I got a daughter. You no, you're not getting this off on me. No, never. You're not
Hey,
going. You're not going. You're not going to lie on me. You're not going to lie on me with the worst possible crime ever. You're not going to do that. You know what I mean?
you know what's another weird aspect to this? And I always can go off into these deep ends and shit, and I ain't trying to start no other real conversations, but it's really funny how all these guys they start attacking a lot of these black celebrities like this since ever since Epstein died. Like why they not going after these people that's on this Epstein list? Why they not releasing that list? How come there ain't none of them people that's going down or getting locked up or getting these charges and you know what I mean? I know they probably don't even got proof of that. They just got probably their name in a book and a date, but you know what I mean? Like, it's probably still hard to prove, but I mean, if you're gonna, how hard is it to prove that you and Diddy assaulted a 13-year-old at a party with a house full of people there, and nobody ever said nothing for 30-something years? So, like, I mean, I don't know, man. Like I said, I just
Yeah,
think it's
make it
crazy.
make
It's
make it
crazy.
make
It don't
sense,
make
man.
sense. It don't make sense.
LP, what say you, sir?
Hey, what's good with y'all? How y'all doing? My bad, I'm on the road,
What up?
man.
What up,
Good.
LP?
What's
Yes,
up,
sir.
LP?
Yes,
Hey,
sir.
chilling, chilling. Leroy on this 880 traffic, my man. Y'all see me.
Right.
Um,
Okay. Be smooth. Be
Down here for the
smooth.
next hour. Hey, always,
Yeah.
man. Um, so I've been hearing what y'all saying, man. I'm just gonna put my phone down. Um,
Yeah.
and you know, I don't believe it. You get what I'm saying in regards to the current allegations from the 13-year-old shit. And not because I don't want to believe any
Yeah.
allegations and defend Jay and all that kind of stuff. It's just because for me,
Right.
it's like those type of allegations got to come from a place of like credibility. So apparently that lawyer already has a history of being on the shaky side of things. Um, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like for me, I'm like when the Puffy stuff came out, first off, there's a long history of that kind of behavior, and you had so many credible people who spoke on these things, not specifically, they didn't flat out say it, but it's like, man, you got person after person after person after person, or going back to the locks, going to
Right.
the 90s, going into the 2000s, that when it comes out and then you see the video, right? We can't act like tangible evidence doesn't matter. Ray Rice, it got worse when we saw the video, right? If we hear a rumor
Right.
that Solange and Jay-Z arguing, you just, oh, okay, maybe they argue, maybe they did it. When you see Solange punching them in the face, you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? They was really fighting,
Right.
right? So now, so for me, just right now, at least with this specific 13-year-old girl stuff, I, something else has to come out from a credible source. I like the way that Jay attacked it. I think that Jay answering it right away, it could blow up in his face if he's full of shit, right? So let's be clear. It reminds me of like Rafael Palmeiro. You remember the baseball stuff when they were all saying, I did not take PEDs and all that stuff, and then you find
Right.
out that they did, so they look crazy. But I think this is a better approach than what Puffy did, because I think in Puffy's case, he violated so hard that when these allegations come up, he don't know what's true or not. So in his mind, I'm just going to pay everything off as much as possible because at this point he don't know reality from not, right? Or
Yeah.
Bill
Right.
Cosby even. I think the lack of defense kind of gives way where from just a human standpoint, we're all men here, the chat, whatever. If I get accused of anything like that, I'm not playing the game. I'm not playing the lawyer game. I'm not playing, well, hey, social media is not for that. I didn't touch no kids. You're out of your goddamn
Right.
mind, and I'm gonna bury you. You know what I mean? So in that sense, if Jay is on the up and up with everything, then he approached it the best way possible,
The proper way.
Now, where I think it's kind of hurting a little bit. Yeah, and I think it's hurting Jay now though a little bit is that now you have the Larry Johnson interview. Now you have kind of all these small little details because there was already the problem with social media and all this kind of stuff, and I think with just human nature in general, and respectfully, the more religious side of people is that they want a devil has to exist. Right, especially in like a class society where the minute that you make too much money, if you come from a certain environment, that environment,
Right.
it doesn't make sense to them how you got that rich, right? So if you come from the same environment, if you come from New York, if you come from the hood, if you come from all of that, and you're already skeptical and your stuff is already messed up, it don't make sense to you how they became billionaires and all that, right? Nas said it like, yo,
Right.
I didn't have to join a secret society to get rich. And why is it only us? Right. So
Right.
I
Right.
think that Jay has hit that level of a zeitgeist of Bill Gates and George Soros and all these people where it's like you got to be down with the devil or you got to be down with these negative things because they
I don't
wouldn't
rock
let
with
you in
that.
the door if you weren't. Right. Not
I
me
don't
either.
rock with that.
I think you could. Yeah, I think if you're, I think that's respectfully. Sometimes that could be a sign of lack of intelligence of how the real world works. In a capitalistic society, if you come up with the right idea and you make the right moves and you step on the right people, that's also a fact. You can make
Yeah.
it without having to do all this crazy stuff that people do. I think with
Oh
Hove,
yeah.
is it's a perfect storm of he really made it. He really did all those things he said he was gonna do when he was doing it. But then now it's like, oh, but he was around Aaliyah during that time. And why were you making those albums with R. Kelly? And so now all this circumstantial evidence that looks crazy in hindsight, that was kind of more acceptable in the 90s, now that works against him later
I
on.
never thought it
And
looked
now they can
crazy
prove from all
though.
of that.
Well, let
I
me
never
just
thought it looked
let me
crazy.
interject real quick because again, I I I lean on the other side where I don't, I say I don't know, and I say I don't think the media. I think it's irresponsible for the public to disparage a man when you don't know what the situation is. And I think we live in a time where we just internet investigators and internet judge, jury,
Yeah.
executioners, and I don't really rock
Right.
with that. But to your point, LP, Jay Z did make it, but he did put his toe in that water wearing the "Do What Thou Wilt" shirt. He did put his toe in his water, showing the imagery in his
Well,
videos of the
I
that's
occult.
don't pray
just
to
not
God. I
true,
pray to
man. That's
Gotti.
just not true.
With
I don't know
homegirl,
I don't know what Jay did. I've been watching
homegirl,
Jay since he
that
came
that in
out.
that video. What was that? What was that
That's just
video?
not true. That
That is true.
if we
No,
claim the religious side, if we claim the religious side, one, and I don't expect nobody to uphold this because I'm also guilty of this, right? But in religion, it says you're not supposed to judge another person. Are we clear there?
yeah, but that's not the
Unless
same. That's not
we are
judging.
without sin.
No, no, no,
That's
no, no.
not
That's
judging
not.
though. But we're
Let
not
me finish.
judging.
So we're
Let me,
supposed to judge
but
another
let me
man.
finish my point. Because we had the same argument a couple of shows ago, Leroy. You
Yeah.
kind of agree with what I was saying at the time. The homegirl in that video, who is alleged to be a part of the occult and a Satanist that talks about sacrifices and rituals. I asked you a question. Would you think that it's okay for her to watch my children? You said no. I don't think that would be a good idea. So I'm not. You're not. I'm not. That's placing judgment upon somebody's
That's what the
actions.
one you're going with. I
That's
mean
the one he was in
No,
the
that, but
video. That's the one he was in the
I
video with.
I don't know her personally, so I'm not gonna let anybody watch her kids that I don't
Okay.
know personally. I'm just
no,
saying I do not know her. But when we
I
talk
think that
about when we talk about these type of my bad, I'm gonna let you go. When we talk about these type of activities, right? It has to come from somebody who has never done nothing wrong. Because the reason why, if you have done something wrong before and you're speaking on the next man, you're speaking from a I am holier than thou. And we gotta recognize that what makes you better, not you, Ron, but the person talking, why are you better than somebody in the entertainment bit? What did you do? And there is no better or
Well,
worse, but why are you so
I'm,
perfect? Now, if I
well,
seen
Leroy,
someone do work, if LP, if you put out a #1 album for 14 years, and I tell you that LP, you didn't put in the work for your success, that would be kind of funny because I saw you do the work. You put out
not,
14 #1 albums. You
but
know,
I think with Jay-Z it's a little bit different. Like you said, Ron, we talked about this a while ago when we was talking about why do Jay-Z get so much hate, and you know, I'm standing on what I said at that show. I think that Jay-Z and Beyonce, they they have been playing with that imagery and like that you know, occult satanic type of shit. You know what I mean? Like so you know, it's not that people making it up. It's videos out there. It's pointing out the imagery.
I think they're
It's
making it
stuff
up.
out there. So what I'm saying is that no, people not making that up, Leroy. No, come on, man.
I
They're
think
not making it
the
up.
only reason why I say that,
You
the only reason why I
can't
say
make
that,
up the signs that Jay-Z is throwing. You can't make up the way that Beyonce calling herself Sasha Fierce and dressing up
the only reason why I
as
say that,
goddesses and all that. Come on, man. Like
the,
it is what it is. And like
super, but you have to be educated on the topic of a cult. The reason why I say this is because I'm going to ask you, who is your teacher? Now, if you're saying you do not have a teacher, then I'm going to say, what craft was it? The Amrock? Was it the Freemasonry? What craft did you study and who were your elders? The reason why I'm asking is because I need to know that you have the proper knowledge on the occult before talking. Because when
well,
we
I mean,
talk about throwing signs, when we talk about
I don't
throwing
even think
signs, we've been
Leroy,
throwing signs. My friend's been
I don't
throwing
think
gang signs forever. So
but I
that's
don't think
nothing new. I got a symbol on my hat right now. I got a symbol on my shirt right now. So, I would
yeah,
never do nothing with the
Leroy,
devil.
but you kind of playing naive a little bit when it come down to this. And like I said, like even if people don't know what it
You
means, you
got to
know what
have a
I'm saying? Like
teacher.
hold on, let me say this.
Yeah.
Even if people don't really know what it means, right? This goes back to what I'm saying about what makes him guilty. It's still people out here making these videos, pointing these signs out, saying this and that, and like that's is part of the reason why. Like I said, that if they wasn't playing with the imagery, people wouldn't be able to say these things. You can't say that about the Wu-Tang Clan, that they was playing with Illuminati symbols in their videos and songs. Like
They
even like
absolutely were. They
yeah,
absolutely
but
were.
you
The Wu-Tang Clan,
Ho-
the
ho- ho-
Wu-Tang Clan has this symbol. That's the W, right? So if I tell you the W's evil, well then I can run with that. They used the
yeah,
5%,
but you're not
the,
finna
the
find that
star.
W where is that in the Masonic book or in the Book of Satan or some shit like that? Like, come on,
and I
man. Like
think,
let's
and
just
that's a
What I'm
good
like
key
saying
let's just
is,
be
what
word.
I'm saying
reasonable
is,
in here.
what I'm saying is, who in the craft? If you're talking about the occult, I gotta ask you who in the craft you're talking about.
I'm
Because
saying that it
if
doesn't
you're
really matter
blanketing
because
a,
when people when a
come
normal
on, you're
person hear
saying
the occult,
everybody's
Leroy,
hey,
evil.
let's go
I've
one
been
at let's
alive a
go
long time. I've met good people in the real world.
let's go
I
one at a
know good
time.
people exist. When you say everybody is evil, I can't believe the everybody thing. I've
what I'm
met good
saying is
people
that
in the real world.
when the average person hear occult, right?
Yes.
That's just where they go. That's where their heads go. That's where their mind go. No matter what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like so they may not even feel like they
Okay.
need to get
Okay.
educated because it's
You need to.
it is what
Right,
it is.
and
You
then
know what I'm saying?
that's the thing too. It's like, in Hope's case, there's a lot of self praise and self worship, and look, I don't think any of us can really speak on what that does to your ego when you really go from being the projects to being a billionaire. You get what I'm saying? Shit, if I do great at work, I feel like the man. You know what I'm saying? Right? We play
Yeah, but
games,
that's
but
why I
when you
can't
win, you
judge
feel
Hove.
undefeated, right? Okay, but
I can't
the
judge
thing is
Hove.
that when you start playing into like the Freemasonry stuff, when you start saying I am God or I don't believe in God and God, when you go around with that kind of stuff, whether accurate or not, right? I'm not, I can't speak one way or another on it, on whether I believe any of it. But what I'm saying is, to Super's point, is that when you play around with it, you're creating enough circumstantial evidence for the people
No,
who don't need
no,
much evidence to paint a picture
no,
anyway. Bro, listen,
no.
Then
most
Leroy, why do
religious
you think
LP,
people
people
LP.
believe
respect
this?
When we talk about
hold
a, when we talk about a symbol like an owl or a chessboard, these
on.
people
Right.
just learned to play chess 100 years ago. We've been playing chess for
Yeah, but we
5,000
also
years. When we
understand
say
that
we are God,
Freemasons use the
when
chessboard as a
LP, LP,
perspective of things,
LP,
right?
LP, when they dig up our ancestors, they're going to find that in our ancestors' names have middle names that represent God. What they're saying is, when they're saying I am God, but what they're saying is the divine lives within me. So that's what they're saying by that. So
No, right. But the
when we
thing
take
is that
100 years of
doesn't,
study, we've been doing this Freemasonry. We put up
Leroy, that
pyramids
doesn't,
before y'all learned how to read.
but
We
that
put up
doesn't take
pyramids
away
before
from
y'all learned
people.
how to read.
But
And let
that
me get to the super
doesn't
chat.
take away from
LP,
people taking.
LP, let me get to the super chats real quick, and I will let you go. And then after that,
Yeah.
so this is how we're gonna do it. So LP gonna go next, and Super Duper, and Leroy, and let everybody get their place. And I want to say something too, because Leroy, you and I had this conversation earlier, and I think we're kind of bringing
Who
it
is your
online.
teacher?
No, you
I
know,
need to know who taught
God is
you.
my teacher. That's who
So
my teacher
nobody.
is.
So nobody.
No, I don't. That's not nobody to me. But anyway, Michael Williams with the super chat says, regardless how this plays out, this accusation ensures Kendrick will be the consensus GOAT by all mainstream publications from now on. And that's, I don't know about that, Michael Williams. I think Nas would have something to say about that. I would think Tupac would have something to say about that. I would think other people, I guess the mainstream publications, but I just don't know, man. I still, even though I like this last GNX album, I still can't say, my personal opinion of hip hop, that he's the GOAT. I'm not seeing evidence of him being the GOAT. I just don't see it.
Oh, oh, Ron, I do think what Michael's essentially saying, I don't think he means the hip hop community is saying that as much as the
Just them
publication
saying that.
community of it is,
Yeah.
right? Like remember, they held short of putting him over Jay, but they were putting him over Nas when I would say the majority, a good portion of the hip hop community is like, hey, not yet. Even though you kind of see the angle where that's going. With this, now this gives them the leeway to be like, oh, you know what? Now he is better than Jay because they're trying to pull Jay up for that pedestal. What? Let me not say they're trying to, but the fact that he is being pulled from that pedestal, if he does a great Super Bowl thing, they're going to look back and be like, well, he is the greatest. So I do understand where he's coming from. It might not happen on according to hip hop or any of the podcasts where we try to keep it as hip hop as possible. But Forbes, but Pitchfork, Complex, oh, they're just itching to put him over Hove. And I think that this might be the angle that kind of does that. And I believe that's what Michael is trying to get across with what he's saying there,
God, let me get these
which
last two
I
super
don't
chats from
disagree
Mad
with.
Max.
That looks like that's at play.
Let me get these last two super chats from Mad Max. If Michael Williams is right, and this is to make Dot the consensus GOAT, tell the powers to be, I'm turning them and the seeds to Za for real. F out of here. F out of here. Super chat. LL Super. The number 36 is the mark of the beast. So Wu did it too.
I mean,
Mad
I
Max.
you know,
All I'm saying is this:
Yeah. So
you don't need a teacher. You don't need a teacher. But in anything, not just masonry, but in any subject, anytime someone asks you where did you learn it, you gotta be able to show that I've actually studied what I'm talking about, and this is my source. These are my sources. So that way people could see your train of thought. When I talk about Freemasonry, I can show you my sources. I've studied this for over a decade. I know where it begins, where it ends, all the principles. I know the locations. I've been in these temples. So I'm showing you I've been educated. So now it's different because I'm not just talking on my opinion. And that's with anything. We could talk about health. We could talk about fitness and health. Or we could talk about sports. We could talk about rap. But you have to have some knowledge or else you're not really speaking accurately. You know what I'm
well,
saying? You're thinking everybody
well,
is
Leroy,
evil. There's some people that love
well,
people. There's some people that have good intention. There just are. There's some people that would never hurt nobody. So when you're blanketing everybody, you're blanketing them too. Like, oh,
I
this
think
person
that
doesn't eat.
I think we
Nah.
getting
well,
we
Leroy,
getting
I don't.
way off point, really. Like as far as like
Right,
what
because
we
I
really
don't
trying
know
to
where
say. Like
the blank. Right, because I don't know where the blanket judgment came from. I think just sticking to Jay and Beyonce and this specific issue. For one, whether you're Freemason, 5%, any of that kind of stuff, whether it's, biblical, whatever the story is we have to remember that people can paint pictures if there's enough tangible or intangible, if there enough smoke is around, they'll find a way to create a fire from it, right?
Is
Whether
that
they're
their
fathered
fault?
in through
Is that their
5%, or
fault?
it can be if you play into it, right?
No,
So,
because their mentality is
if we
not your
care,
fault.
if well, no,
Their
because
mentality is not your fault.
it is when it comes back to business and public perception and how that affects
Yep.
you and everything else, right? If Puff,
That's on them.
there was
That's on them.
there was it's on the consumer until it falls on you when you start losing money in deals because it affects you. That's literally what Jay attacked the suit the way that he did, to
Hey,
eliminate that perception from even happening, right? We got to remember, because we're talking about occult stuff and everything else. People and again, respect to anybody and their beliefs, but when people believe in something, and the only thing that you can go off of is faith, for example, right? So if you believe in Noah and the ark, and you believe in all these type of things, you believe in heaven, hell, devil, whatever the story is, there's nothing tangible, there's nothing specific that creates that level of faith in it outside of your mind believing that, right? So what happens a lot of time with people who believe in with that tangible evidence, if you show them something that remotely seems real, or they're taking it
I
to the
get it.
bank. Because if I could make you
Do you
believe that
believe
there
that
is a boat
studying?
that
Do you
had a bunch
believe
of
that
animals in it,
studying?
of course you're gonna believe that Jay-Z putting up the diamond looks like a demonic symbol, right? So
Do
so
you
so
believe that
why even
studying a
play
subject?
around with that?
Do you believe studying a subject gives you better understanding of the subject?
Of
Yes.
course.
For
But you
instance,
don't but
I don't pass
but you don't
judgment
know
on
what
no religion,
people
right?
know or
I
don't
don't
know,
pass
because
judgment on no religion.
everybody
Well,
isn't.
people tell me I'm wrong. When I don't pass judgment on people, they tell me I'm wrong. I say, well, they say you don't pass judgment on Muslims. I say no. You don't pass judgment on Buddhists? No, I don't pass judgment on nobody's religion. They tell me I'm wrong. They say, look, Jason, if you do not pass judgment on them for not believing in Jesus Christ, then you yourself is going to hell. I say, no, I believe that everybody deserves my respect. So I do not pass judgment on them. And I'm wrong. So I can't help them
Well, if I was in the grocery
understand.
store, if I was in Albertsons and I saw somebody slap their mother in the face, I would pass judgment on them. I wouldn't stand next to that person. I wouldn't rock with them. Everybody passes judgment on
I
people.
don't think we're talking about slapping your mother. But what I'm saying is, if I'm, let's say I'm talking about Christianity and I have no clue what I'm talking about, to a real Christian, I would sound funny because I have no clue what I'm even talking about. So it's like, I think people should be careful about what they're saying about certain beliefs unless they've actually done the study. Like, we're talking about, you know, a certain thing that is not, if you want symbols to be evil, then that's on you. A
I
symbol
mean,
is just
Hey,
that's just a
Leroy,
symbol.
hey,
I
If
think
Leroy,
it
it,
depends
But
on what you
that but
believe
to me,
in
a
but
too,
owl,
man.
to me,
but
an
and let's
Lisa,
owl
super
is a
duper,
I
beautiful bird.
let's super
right?
duper cook real quick. Let's super
I
duper cook real
I
quick.
think it depends on what you believe in, because some religions and some religious texts. I don't want to be specific because I don't even want to keep talking about this, but some religious texts say that don't do this activity. This is against um your religion or whatever, however you want to say it. So that's why people judge it the way that they judge it. So that a Christian might be like, no, I don't mess with Freemasons, or somebody might say something like that just based on what their book tell them about that religion already over there. So I mean, it is what it is. But I think that we kind of getting off point
Freemasons
when
are
it
like
comes down.
super Christians. Freemasons are
But
super Christians.
I think that we getting off point when it comes down to Jay-Z in general. I think that for really what I'm really saying, and I think what LP is saying, and what Ron is really saying, is that sometimes just the perception is the reality of it. And so, like when you putting out this perception, or when you playing
Mm,
these games, you know what I mean? Like this, it is what
mm.
it is when people decide that.
And nobody knows that better than Jay, Super. Like, he
Yeah,
knows.
yeah, he
He
know that.
knows that
I
perception is reality.
yeah.
But LP again, back in the day when I was studying 5% lessons, people would say, "Well, who do you think you are to think that
But
you're
oh,
God?"
see, and Leroy, thank you
I
for
would say,
saying that.
"Well,
My
I'm studying."
apologies.
I would say, "Well, I'm studying because I like to study." they would be like, well, no, you
Right.
think
No.
you're God.
So
And I'd be
Leroy,
like, no,
no, and
I just like to study. So they'd be
see
like, no.
Leroy, and I
So it's like I
understand
can't
what you're
help that
saying.
person. I can't help
Right,
that
but I
person because
understand what
they're
you're
telling
saying to
me,
your specific. But I
see,
understand what you're
they're
saying to that
telling me
specific
about what's my
case.
own
But
thoughts.
because yeah, but that's different because, for example, in Christianity, just to nip this in the bud, in Christianity, you don't have to say this pastor taught me about Jesus. You don't have to name drop your
That's
pastor or whoever it is that taught you
that's a
anything.
problem.
In
That's a
5%,
problem.
you have a teacher. No, it's not because in 5%, you're using the 5% logic and how they operate to how everybody else does things. If I'm a Muslim, I don't need to tell you, hey, I went through this Muslim specifically and I learned this from this rabbi or something like that, even though you might have that. In 5% specifically, there is somebody who fathered you. You got to have your lessons and everything. So that's what I think is
The
the
notion
separation in what
is
you're saying is that you're putting that standard on other forms of intelligence and religion when that's something very specific to the 5%
the
ideology
the notion
operates.
is
You get what
people
I'm
can speak,
saying?
people are
It
speaking and
doesn't
they're
work
not
that way in
wrong.
Christianity.
The notion is you're speaking and you're not wrong. The wise man knows he is wrong. See, people are speaking and they're like, I'm right. Let me tell if any religion, if you think your
Oh, well,
religion
yeah.
is
I mean, you know,
hold on. If you think you're 100% right on everything religiously, then it would be wise to know that you're wrong. There is no 100%. And the wise man knows he's wrong. And this is what I'm saying. No, if whether I'm Christian, Muslim, 5%, Freemason, I would say I've learned this, and some of it is wrong historically because I'm wise enough to know that nobody's perfect to be right about everything. And I never hear that from a religious
Let
person.
me
They say, no, I actually am right about everything I ever said
let
and
me get to the
ever will
super
do.
chat real quick. Let me get to the super chat real quick. Super chat from Michael Williams. LP, that's exactly what I'm saying. In 2022, Billboard ranked Jay #1, Kendrick #2. If they make that list again, Kendrick will be over Jay. Let me say this though, because I think we're making, and Leroy,
yeah.
you and I spoke about this offline earlier, right? I'm making a different argument. I think we're arguing about two different things. I get what you're saying. I respect what you're saying. You're right in your context and how your frame, how symbols are used in the mainstream and what symbols mean. What I'm saying is the reason why Jay may be getting some backlash, right, is because he's used these symbols. And Hollywood, traditionally, we can't deny that Hollywood has used symbolism to perpetuate
We
certain
all use
messages.
symbolism.
I'm not talking about all. I'm saying Hollywood in the music industry. I'm not saying all, we, me, you, Super, LP.
We wear gold
But
crosses.
that's not my argument. What I'm saying is the systems of Hollywood and the system of the music business has historically used images that are
Yes.
tied to the occult and tied to satanic imagery. That's a fact.
Everything is an image. Everything is an image.
That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
That
So
the
you pick,
symbol
but
I
you
on your
think
pick,
I
hat is
think
but
an
you
I,
image.
pick and
I think the
choose which,
difference is I
but
think
you
the
pick and
difference is that Leroy just don't believe that the shit is satanic, and we do,
No,
and the
no, no,
other
no,
people
no,
the
right.
other
You
people
no.
you
think it's
can you can
satanic.
pick and choose what symbolism to play into, though, Leroy. That's
What
the thing. Jay's played into the type of symbolism that creates paranoia about negative
what I'm
demonic
saying
shit.
is what I'm
Like that.
saying is
That's the issue with
we
it, is that he's
believe
playing into that.
what I'm saying is we believe we are more righteous than the person we're talking about. And that's where I
No,
think
we
we're
No,
in
don't.
I
I
error.
don't
think
think I
that's
don't
not
think that's the
that's
case.
I think
There might
you
be
think
people who
you're
feel
above,
that way.
you think you're more righteous than the person you're judging. And that's where I think we're in error. You know
I
what I'm
think you
saying?
just that
That's
we're going too
crazy.
far
You know
way
what I mean?
off topic, man.
Right,
We'll be here
right,
all night
right.
doing this.
Because first of all, just having a conversation about what's happening isn't judgment. You get what I'm saying? Now, if it comes that he's actually messing around with 13-year-old girls or puffy beat up, yeah, I can judge you because I don't beat my lady. You know what I'm saying? And I don't touch kids, right? But I think that the whole judgment thing is a step too far. I don't think that anybody here is judging as much as it is that we're making an assessment of the moves that he's made, which pandered and played into it, and where there's smoke, there's fire. I think Jack Lang had said something in the chat about, hey, it's not like this is the first time that these type of things come up. So why continue to play into
LP,
them? Just, look,
LP,
little Nas,
LP,
real quick, real
every
quick, real quick.
LP,
Little Nas X said,
every
real
human
quick,
that was
Leroy.
ever born is every human that was ever born, and I'm not saying the child thing, that's crazy, but every human that was ever born, if they're pushed too far, they could react savagely. That's every human across the board. So
Possibly.
when you're acting,
Right? I can't
when
speak on
another
every.
person
That's a
acts
very
as
generalized
if they
statement
are
because
not
that's hard to
capable
say.
of
I've
savagery,
seen videos of dudes getting beat up by girls that I'm like, I would have snapped, but they did it. You know, you can, that's also a blanket
everybody on
statement. Just
earth.
like saying people are judging, possibly can't call it. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? But again, going back to the pandering into the symbolism and everything else, to the Jay-Z stuff, that any rapper, whatever. I'm gonna use little as an example, right? Kid came into the scene, did his shit, did the gay stuff. People said he was satanic. What did he do? He pandered and he came out with a Nike shoe that had all that devil stuff on it because he was pandering. And what happened worked against him because he thought that that was cute to play around with it. And it's not, because right now in this time of social media, they don't want to see that. So the minute that you even remotely give somebody the idea that you're playing around with it or that you can be involved in it, and then real life accusations start coming out from what people
Yeah.
perceive as credible, that's where it hurts you,
Yes,
Leroy. That's what we're saying, you know. So
yeah, yeah.
again,
And
I
somebody
think
will
that it
come
has to
out
come from a
one day.
Mhm.
One day there will be a rapper that will say Jesus in his songs, and I love Jesus, and that will be a big hit. So what I'm saying is one is obviously better than the other. If we have to pick, we know which one is
Because
better.
you're
It would be
positive,
Jesus. It would be
well,
Jesus. But
that's also because they're pandering towards a symbolism that sets a positive light.
what I'm saying is all things are symbols. So when you're saying this is good, this is bad, all things are symbols. What is the
Right.
Leroy,
So
I just
because a symbol,
why
well,
you
because a
why are
symbol,
you doing this? I don't why you doing this right now as if you don't really understand
because
what we're
yeah,
because
saying,
what
like
I
bro.
what
like
I'm trying to get you to
I
understand
listen,
is
Leroy,
the
I understand
science you're
exactly
talking
what you
about. They just learned it. The
I
no, but
Hollywood,
understand what
they
you're
just
saying.
learned it.
I
Our
understand what
parents
you're saying, but
already knew this knowledge. Our great
Leroy,
great great great
and we
grandparents,
and
they
that's
already knew this knowledge. Hollywood just now learned this knowledge that we're talking about. So
and that's cool. We
who
get
is
that.
really the Illuminati? Is it them
We
or
understand
is
and
it the
get that, Leroy.
masters?
We understand and get that. We just saying that the public perception of it is what it is,
right,
and
right,
Yes,
that's
right.
just it
See,
just
like
and
is
that's
what it
true.
is, man.
That's true.
Leroy, there's symbolism is just symbolism, and it could be a positive or negative based off how that symbolism is being used. The swastika did not symbolize what it became until they used
Thank
it and
you.
they turned it into that, right?
Thank
Like we're
you.
using like the word woke meant something before they tarnished it and made it mean something else completely different, right?
You
So
you win.
again,
You win right there.
currently,
You won.
right, right. So full circle. The images that Jay-Z and Beyonce have apparently played into are the symbolisms that reflect the negative perception at the moment. That can change 10 years from now. It might have been a completely different perspective back when Cleopatra was running Egypt and shit. Right now, playing along into that is a negative perspective, and it only added fuel to the fire.
True,
So when
true,
these allegations
true,
start coming out, that's the issue.
true.
So and that's all that we're trying to say, Leroy. I don't
And
disagree
listen,
with your overall point about judgments and everything else, but in this particular case, Hove
True.
did not do himself any services playing into it. Like, hi, you think I'm a devil
when I
worshiper?
see a
You're stupid.
pyramid,
Here's this, you know?
when I see a
I think
Christmas
that him
tree, I'm guilty of buying Christmas trees. So I'm also guilty of buying Christmas trees. When I see a pyramid, I don't think of evil. But now if someone else does, that's okay. But when someone sees a Christmas tree, a lot of people think that's very evil. I'm guilty of buying Christmas tree. I just bought a Christmas tree. Like, I just bought a Christmas tree for my kids. So I'm just as guilty as somebody else who thinks a Christmas tree is guilty. I'm no better. My kids want a Christmas tree. I'm sorry. I got the Christmas tree. So I'm just as guilty. Now I know I'm not evil, but if they say Jason you're evil or Leroy you're evil, then I got to just accept that they think I'm evil.
let me get to the super chat real quick. Joe Young with the super chat. K Dot will never be over Hove. Stop with the BS. He doesn't have enough music. Hove cover all music aspect. K Dot doesn't have enough features. Well, yeah, let's get to the music real quick because I think this Hove
Let's do it.
conversation. I
Right. I
still
mean, well, that's sorry for cutting
LB
you
was
off,
right.
Ron. I mean, I think that's the hip hop. head view of it, I'm not putting K Dot above Hove or Nas or any about, especially just from a music standpoint. Once you eliminate all the weird shit that we can kind of point at every MC about, you know what I mean? We're all humans, you know, none of them are perfect. But again, going back to what Michael Brown was saying earlier, Joe, it's the media and that whole angle. They're the ones that are going to start putting him above Hove after this, not the hip hop
and,
head. For the most part, they exist. You
That's
know,
okay.
that's
and,
just what's going to
and
start happening.
I think too, you know, if you've really been paying attention, M been falling off the list a little bit further back too. And I think, you know, now with this Jay allegations, he'll start going back up higher in the list as well too.
Well, you know
You know
what's
what I'm saying?
funny
Like,
about M though is I think that where Jay-Z will fall off and Nas will fall off from a perceptional level, like let's not forget, Nas is my GOAT. But if you go back to those KD1, KD2 era reviews, the first thing they brought up was was his situation with Khalees, right? And that's what they used to start downplaying his credibility and giving him bad music ratings when it
yeah.
had nothing to do with the music. I think with M, he started falling off because his music was bad. You know what I'm saying? I think that with
They
M,
like
it's
that
like he's
last
like,
album.
Yeah, that's what I was
They
gonna say.
like
you know,
that
With
last
the last album, that's why I was really saying that. With that last album, you're gonna
maybe.
start seeing
You
M.
know, I don't know what the current perception is on M since that album, as far as like what it's. I don't see it at the end of the year list so far with the mainstream media. I don't see it like at a top 10 level. Especially within our space, I don't think that there's anybody really here that has it maybe in their top 10 or 15 even. So
No,
maybe
no,
that's what's happening. Right, right.
no.
So I just think with
People don't even talk about that album. People, that album
right,
has been a distant memory. So if
it's,
that, I think that album is hurting him actually, his all time
right.
Hey,
ranking
you
list.
know what though,
I
Ron?
think M got that
I,
that LeBron thing where it's like he started off really strong, but now the longer that he plays and doesn't win, the worse it starts to look over time. And I just think that he started off strong with those first 3 or 4 albums, if you want to give him encore. And then I think since 2010 or whenever he did that, I'm Not Afraid. Everything since then has just been lower and lower. And I think what's even hurt him more is that when the one thing that people would give him credit for is like, well, nah, that's just M pandering to his base. But when he tries to make the MC music, it always hits. Well, then when you're doing goofy shit on the song with Griselda, you know what I'm saying? When you're just rapping taco shells and I got those bells and I rock those bells and with Nas, that's where that you really start losing it. You know what I mean? And I think that that's what's happened to
album.
Eminem. I just think that the music and the bad features have hurt him from a commercial standpoint. Maybe not numbers wise, but commercially viewed, and especially from a hip hop base where at least we could be like, yo, man, but put him on a song with Royce or put him on a song with Nas or put him on a song with these people. And now when he's on them, he's talking about chihuahuas and Christmas trees and all this extra shit. And
But I think
it's
that's
not a good look.
honest though, LP. I think that's honest. Like in M's music, whether you like it or not, what he's saying is I'm serious and I'm also a goofball. And even though that sounds funny, that is truthful though. And that part of the truth is gonna hold. Like with the last Slim Shady album, he's fighting himself the whole album. But that little bit of truth is gonna hold because everybody to some degree is both. They're both serious and not serious. And that's
and
gonna hold.
Oh no, I
I
agree,
think,
and I
I
respect
think
it.
this
I
been a
sorry.
no. Go ahead, LP, because I was gonna talk about something
Oh, I
else.
was
Go
just
ahead.
And then tell me your favorite
cool.
albums
Then
this year.
I'll.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My bad. You were saying, Leroy? I didn't hear. My bad.
No,
You broke up.
tell me your
My
favorite
favorite
albums this
albums of
year
the
after
year.
you're done. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool. So real quick with the M shit, I agree. Actually, what I would like from M, which he kind of did a little bit, but not too much on the album, was be more open. I think the best version of M is the stands and the way I am and mocking and all the things where he's being personable. And I don't like the goofy stuff. You know, Redman used to joke around and all that kind of stuff. I just think that from an MC standpoint, when it's time for you to be serious, you're still not being serious. Nobody wants to hear you be goofy on a song with Griselda. Like, come correct, right? Or get on a song with Preem or whatever the story is. So I think that's where the goofy. There's a time and a place for it, and I just think that he's missing his mark on when he should be doing that or not. Yo, just rap. And stop trying to put in so many words into the word salad.
Right.
Not my top albums of the year, not in any order, but I got Common, Freddie Gibbs, Shay Noor, who else I
Which
got?
one?
Matt Kami,
Which which one, LP?
Lotus,
I mean,
Lotus.
okay, fire.
That's is
Uh,
that the 7 track, 6 track one?
Yep,
I think that's the one with the Rhapsody on it.
the short one. Yeah, like 8
Okay.
songs. I think it's
Yeah,
8 songs. Yeah.
yeah. Give me that. That's a top five album. That man, listen, I actually don't like that Rhapsody's on that because I think sometimes the rappity women don't want to hear the rappity from the women. I think
Right.
that if you eliminate the rappity songs and you give me more introspection, I think that's what women are missing in hip hop. Like, where is the woman Illmatic? Where is the woman rap album that speaks from a
Hey,
perspective of being a woman and dealing with the positives and negatives? And she has those songs in there, like Wiz Love and talking about dealing with choices and being behind her man and the type of things that men respect that women speak on. And I just haven't heard that yet as a
I
full
mean,
album, but I
Nikki
think this is the
Giovanni.
closest to it. You know?
Rest in
Yeah,
peace.
just
Rest in peace, Nikki
let's
Giovanni. That's
let's
their
get it in
teacher.
raps.
You know what I mean?
Right. Let's get it in raps,
When you
right?
listen to Che Noir, when you listen to Che Noir or Rhapsody, you could tell they listen to Nikki Giovanni. You
Right.
could
You can
tell that's the
and
same
you hear
mentality.
those influences. And you can
Yeah.
tell that she writes her own raps, right? As much as I love Kim and Foxy and everything else, the pen is questionable, you know. So she's made a super dope album. I really appreciate her perspective as a woman. I like the
Right.
rapidy rap songs, but I'm like, just give me a cohesive body of work.
I
Respectfully,
got you.
Rhapsody doesn't even move the needle like that. So yeah, Matt Kami, I think his album is dope. You know, so there's a ton of them there. I like the Kendrick, but it's not quite in my top five. But I would say for sure, Common, Freddie, Shay, those are my top three this year, and everybody else just kind of falls in line from there.
Common, man. Common top
I'm not.
five, man.
Super duper,
I,
super
I,
duper.
I,
What's on your mind? What were you about to say, super duper?
I was gonna say, I think that the year kind of been, man, this year it's been a lot that happened this year. Like, if you really think
Yeah.
about it, I was going back listening to these albums and like, do y'all really realize that Carnival from Kanye was this year? Like, that shit seemed like it was a long time ago. I feel like that was like at least 2 years ago, but that was this
March.
Yep.
year.
That was
You know what I
March
mean?
last. That was March
Vulture, didn't
Yeah.
Vultures drop this
Yeah,
year?
in March.
yeah,
Vultures dropped in March last year.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like we got a lot of
Yeah.
work really that came out. I mean, the Rock Marcy came out in like what was that in like May or March too. I mean, it was a
Yep.
lot of stuff that actually came out throughout the year, and then
Facts.
you had like the Kendrick tidal wave
The
and like
battle,
it's like
yeah, it
it's like
sucked the air out of the room.
yeah, it's like since like when like that came out, like everything is almost a blur from like that happened before like that. Like it's almost like a
Right.
Shit
blur
changed, right? It's
almost in a
like an
way.
ADBC thing. Yeah, Ghostface dropped that album this year, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep.
The albums that came out earlier, Lupe had the album from like the perspective of a battle rapper and the stripper, all that weird stuff. Right? Respect to Lupe, So
Right.
yeah, this is what I'll say about this year. This year, I don't have an album 4.5 or higher, but I think I got a lot of fours this year. We got a lot of very
Got you.
solid albums. Nothing that I
For
would
sure.
consider classic. Things that maybe might age better once we kind of get out of the fog that we're in with all the battle culture and everything that's been going on lately. I just have a ton of four level albums
For
and
sure.
which isn't a
For sure.
knock. At least we didn't get a bunch of trash.
Well,
I
But
mean,
well,
nothing that
I
really
think J.
stuck
Cole,
out that was like, wow.
I think J. Cole got at least a 4. I think J. Cole got I think LL got at least a 4.
Yeah, okay,
Hey,
but
so
LL wasn't. Sorry, I don't know how I
Ice
forgot
Cube,
about
Ice
LL.
Cube, Ice Cube
Was
got at least
another
a
one.
4. Ice Cube got at least a 4. Let me say this real quick, guys, because
Eh.
I'm looking at the calendar right now. Right, it's December 11th, and the year is not over yet. And I've been reading the tea leaves, and just hear me out here, because what I'm saying is correct, y'all can stop
Snoop and
time.
Fat Joe on
Y'all
Friday.
can timestamp this. Y'all can chop it up. Y'all can put it out. But I'm seeing the
Right.
moves. I'm seeing the Madison Square Garden show. I'm seeing the re-release of Friday Night Lights. I'm seeing the audio series. I'm seeing the announcement that the Dreamville Festival will be the final one. I'm predicting on next Friday we're gonna have a J. Cole album. The Fall Off is coming next Friday. And I believe once we get that album next week, then we can make a determination of what the album of the year is. But I think it's coming next week. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me.
It don't count if it even dropped. Like, you can't drop right now and give us 2 weeks with your album and then qualify for album of the year, man. It's over. I'm not.
Yeah,
It's
December
disqualified for me.
technically
December
December
technically
is
counts
really
for the following
the
year.
start of the next year.
Yeah, it's two
rap,
weeks. Like, come on, man. No, I'm not gonna count J. Cole this year. It's gonna count for next year.
All right,
I
we'll
can't
see
do
next
it.
Now,
Friday.
in regards to Cole and like him dropping, I mean, next week sounds like I don't know who else is dropping next week. I know we got Snoop and Dre, dropping this Friday. I'm
Fat
hopeful of
Joe,
that.
Fat Joe said
Fat
he got a
Joe,
gangsta album. He's back. Fat Joe said he's
okay,
back on gangsta time. No more club joints.
nice, nice, nice. I'm definitely checking out that Snoop and Dre a few times before I touch the Joe. With all due
We
respect
talked
to Fat
about
Joe, you
Snoop
know what
and
I'm saying?
Dre.
Uh,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I don't
saying?
know
Like,
about Snoop.
hope that the body of work that it does more than how these songs have individually hit me. But that's I always reserve to. I need to hear it the way that you want to present it to me. So I'm holding off on how I feel about the Snoop and Dre stuff. As far as
Dre
Cole
is
goes,
nervous.
man,
Dre nervous. We ain't never seen Dre nervous before. Y'all
yeah,
know
yeah.
Dre.
I mean, I don't
Dre
blame
is
him.
nervous.
I don't blame him. Yeah, he been.
I'm
No, but
going
I'm
out
saying
there.
that's a
I
good
don't
I'm
thing.
blame
going
him,
out
man. I
there right
mean,
now. I'm
That's a
gonna
good
go
thing.
out on the ledge right now, and I don't care. Y'all can mark it down, timestamp it, replay this.
Right.
That Snoop and Dre album about to be whack. And I like them singles is not like them not Snoop and Dre singles, man. Like them not Snoop and
nah.
Dre singles. I don't know. That's like
Right. This.
Did Snoop Dogg go get neutered or something? Like what is going on with these dudes, man? Like I don't
Yo, this is
Snoop
this is what
and
scares me
WAP to
about that
me
album. It's
don't go
because
together.
the thing is this. I mean, you're much higher on the Snoop albums than a lot of us are, so I respect your willingness to ride it out with the dog all these years. You know what I'm saying? I
Snoop
think what
Dogg,
it
WAP?
is that no,
Never,
not what, but
never. Not the
subpar.
dog.
Um,
Not the
um
dog.
I feel you,
Not
man.
the
To each his
dog.
own. But I think
Yeah.
what's happened is that when Dre and Snoop or Dre and Snoop, and all we've ever gotten from you, even when they broke up, but they were still dropping Lucy's and everything, when everything they drop is so fire, then when you hear these songs later on, the expectation is just as much as a reason to why this feels underwhelming as far as the singles go to the average fan. Even, look, I like to Find My Name. I think it was a cool song. But when you start going back to everything that Nas and Preem did, then you hear Define My Name, and get why people get concerned about the Nas and Preem album. I'm not concerned. I think they're going to drop a fire album. Now, if I get, like
Of
three
course.
Define My Names in a row, I would be concerned. I feel like I got three
how the
Define
album
My
gonna be
Names from
fired
Snoop
with
and
them
Dre.
singles that they just dropped? Like if you dropping them singles, I just got no
Yes.
faith in this album right now. Like them singles is not it, man, at all. And
My
that
thing is
sound,
this. My thing is this. People are comparing Snoop to 25 years ago. So it's
no.
like, have y'all bought what albums did y'all buy from Snoop in the last 20
I
years? Do
like
y'all
Blue
know who
Carpet
y'all playing
Treatment.
with?
Rhythm and
I
Gangster
like
was
Blue
dope.
Carpet Treatment.
Blue Carpet
That was
Treatment was
20 years
dope.
ago.
The
Yeah.
song,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
was it.
Did y'all get back
the,
on
the,
death row? Did y'all get back on death
Listen, man.
row?
I'm a big Snoop fan.
that it was cool. It was alright.
I'm a
I
big
want to
Snoop
thank.
fan.
Did y'all get I Want to Thank Me? Did y'all get that album? Do y'all know who Snoop? Do y'all know the dog, man? Now I will say this, man. Of course I'm biased, right? I'm probably gonna be at a barbecue when the album drop. I'm from California, so my energy is gonna be different. But with Snoop, I don't think he could be whack though. Whack, nah, nah.
You can't tell me
He
you
might.
can't
He may not
Leroy.
be.
Leroy, you
Yeah,
can't tell me you replay any of them songs. Especially
I
that
did.
one with Sting on it. You have not replayed one of them tracks. And be honest,
No,
Leroy, come on.
bro. I didn't replay Gorgeous, but the one with Sting on it, bro, that
With
is
Snoop
fire.
singing, the song with
That's
Snoop
Yo,
singing.
that was the
fire.
worst one to me, Leroy.
That is
That
the
is
worst one,
fire,
man. That's like, hey,
bro.
Yeah,
That
I'm on the
is
hey,
opposite
super
spectrum of you on that
fire.
one, Leroy.
Now, here, let me tell
And
you
I'm a
why it's
Nas,
fire.
and
Let me
Nas
tell
is
you
my
why it's
goat,
fire.
so I'm used to
Let me
bad
tell you why
singles.
it's
You know what
fire.
I'm saying? Like,
I
Let me
was
tell you why it's
embarrassed for Snoop,
fire.
man. I
Because
was
Snoop can
embarrassed.
do any style, and I never find that in any rapper. Snoop can do any style. So if you want him to sing, he'll just sing. I've never seen nobody who could do any style except for like CeeLo, or you know what I mean. But like Snoop, he effortlessly did that song with Sting, and it's just his whole style went completely in a. I mean, this man could do every style. I never see
And
that
that
from no rapper.
and that's commendable. It just didn't hit for me. That you know
Fire.
one. Yeah, that Sting song, that beat, nah,
Now
man.
that
You know
makes
what I mean?
Dre
And then
nervous.
also,
That song made Dre nervous because Dre was like, I don't really do pop. So when Snoop went into the pop lane, it kind of threw me like it made him nervous. So, but I like
bro.
that.
which is
I like
surprising
when
because he did the song with Even them back in the day, that take blow your mind away or whatever that was. He did the Truth Hurts song. Like he's dabbled in that in the world of kind of that pop feeling. I think that Dre is nervous because anything that he's ever put his name on, except for that the Aftermath Presents, has
right,
been 5 out of 5, the greatest shit ever, king of the West Coast for good reason. And I think that this, even that Ambrosia stuff, if you noticed, he didn't even put his name behind the marketing of it. He just
bro.
dropped it. They just dropped
Marsha's
it. And that's
album
a
is
great album. Yeah,
crazy,
it's great. And I feel like we're getting more of that
bro.
sound than we are any callbacks to what they did in the past. And I see a comment where somebody says if you're expecting the Chronic or Doggy style, then you know, I get that. We don't need that. And they're older. But I mean,
Right,
even 2001 didn't sound like Doggy Style in the Chronic, but it was special and it hit
right.
different and it created a new vibe. I don't get that from the songs that we've heard. I get a rapping version of the Ambrosia album, production wise and sonically. You know what I'm
Marsha
saying? Like it's
album
a
is
continuation of that.
classic. I'm
The
calling
Marsha album
Marsha's
is dope.
album a
It's dope.
classic.
Man,
I'm
when I
calling
heard
Even
that,
Marsha's
when I
that, you
album
heard
like,
a
that
hip
Snoop
hop
song,
classic.
when I
Marsha's
heard that
album
Snoop
even that
song,
is good.
production style.
when I heard that Snoop and Sting song, the first song that came to my mind was that Nelly, that Nelly country song. It's all in my head. Remember that shit? That
Yeah.
song came to my
Oh my
mind when
God,
I
stop
heard
it,
that
man.
Sting
I
song.
like that song, super shit. That song was all right.
Them two, like I never
Nah,
really
Well,
man,
it said
attached
but
to
that.
y'all don't rock with pop music like that. So
I mean,
I
I
get
like
it.
No,
pop
I'm a
music from
big.
pop
I
people.
listen to. I listen to
I like pop
everything.
music from pop
Trust me.
artists.
Okay,
Right?
all
No,
right. So
and,
you
and if
you get
and if
it then.
and if a
Y'all should have got
and if
that.
a
You
song,
know?
no, if a song, no, I get. I no, like I get it.
Yeah.
Trust me, it makes sense to me. I understand putting Sting on your song and all of that. I just
All
like
right.
just the execution of it just didn't hit me. You know what I'm saying?
I,
Look
I
at
hear
the
you.
song that Kendrick did with Sting or with Bono, right? Like they found a way to
Right.
bring Bono into the rap world with that song. I mean, damn,
Right.
even "I'll Be Missing You" was a Sting sample,
You
and
talking about
even the whole
LP? You talking about the song
VMAs.
that Kendrick did with you two? You talking about that one on
Yeah,
Damn?
Triple X. Right, right,
Right.
right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So so there's a way to bring them into our world or to find a good common ground. I just feel like I could be wrong. And when I listen to the album, it could all fit perfect. But because that does play a role sometimes with
But
singles, I
let me
just
tell
it
you.
just
Let me ask you
it missed
this
the mark
though.
for me.
Let me ask you this though. See, I listen to albums different. Like when Primo and Nas come out, I'ma sit there by myself with the headphones. When Redman come out, I may have myself a little party. So I'm listening differently. You feel me? Like the mood is different because they're two
You know
different
what,
sounds. So
bro?
I
And I
don't listen
heard
to
you make
albums
that
the same.
argument.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree with you. Look, no, I understand where you're coming from. I get that people make music for different settings and all that kind of stuff. So, in theory, I do understand where you're coming from, and I agree with you. It's not for me to
Right.
judge everything, right? Like when Future plays in the club and I'm in the club, that's what I'm listening to. It makes sense to me. I'm not hating on it. But at the same time, there's also music that you play for the club that just isn't good music, period. It just don't sound
Yeah.
good whether I'm in the club or anywhere else, right? So I do
Yeah.
feel where you're coming from, and I'm sure in the barbecue that shit plays and it's good, it's background music. But I've also been to barbecues where songs play and you're like, yo, turn that shit off. What is that? This shit is trash, right?
And
I
and,
will
So
and
I
that
will
just
pay
because
that's
you make the
exactly
anybody.
music for
that's
a certain
exactly what they
segment
gonna
doesn't mean
say
that
when
it doesn't
you
hit.
cut that Sting and Snoop on. You cut that Sting and Snoop on, they gonna be like, man, cut this shit off.
I think
Let me,
Snoop is sending any
hey,
Right.
barbecue up.
hey, let me get to the super chat real
Any
quick.
barbecue,
Let me get
Snoop
to the
is
super chat
cooking.
real quick. Joe Young, they will never fall off. Hov and Nas, their catalog and discographies are unmatched. They both have 5 classic albums. Hov drops is taken all over music publications. Great content. Let's get the numbers up.
They gotta try to take Hove out because he's too powerful though. He's too powerful. You know, if they leave him outside, he represents a willingness to go after power from a black person that came from nothing. They gotta try to take that out. They can't leave that standing outside because that's too powerful. It's not Nas is a I love Nas. He's just a more humble person. But leaving a Jay outside is like leaving a Nipsey outside. He's too powerful.
Well,
He's inspired. He's gonna inspire somebody that to come from nothing and build an empire that's
well,
bigger than like Elon Musk.
if you
And
look
that's too
historic,
power. That's too
if
much power.
if you look historically about of our top, musicians, black musicians, they've always been kind of taken from us prematurely. Well, not prematurely. You look at, Michael Jackson, you look at Prince, you look at Whitney Houston, you look at Sam Cooke back in the day. Um,
Different.
you know,
Jay,
all,
Jay
and
operate
maybe
different.
this is part of the operation manual
And
for once you get
and
old and
and
you
one
age out in
one
the
last
entertainment
point, one
business,
last point.
you exit
Whenever
stage
we
left.
dominated a music, whenever we dominated a sound, they called it devil music. And that's in all the genres we dominated. They called jazz devil music. When we was doing country, they called it devil music. When we was doing blues, they called it devil music. So I'm just establishing a pattern of
But
always
was
We ain't
putting
Howlin',
calling
us.
the music devil music.
You know what
but
I
was
mean?
Howlin'
We
Wolf
ain't
had
calling the music devil
I'm
music.
just establishing a
but
pattern.
did Howlin' Wolf have like skulls with candles on the stage with blood coming
Right,
out of them?
I'm just
So I don't.
establishing a pattern
exactly. Like going back to
of
what your point
always
is,
putting
Leroy,
us.
it's just
We are the only ones that always get put next to the devil.
so,
No,
so don't play into it, right? So you
No,
can't
no,
play
no.
into
You
it,
you
right?
should
That's why you
you should be
always have to
free.
you
You should
have
be
to you
free. You should be free.
wait,
You
you
should never dumb. If you like pyramids, you should rock with that. That's your culture.
well,
Hey,
the
so
next the next show, the
You
next
that's
show,
your culture.
the next show, I'm gonna have my on my desk a skull with some candles and some blood
Nah,
coming out
put
of
a
it. And
put a
see,
put a pyramid. Put a
now I was
pyramid.
gonna get some
That
skulls, and I'm gonna wear a "Do What Thou Wilt" shirt on. I'm gonna have that on next show.
whenever
right.
whenever
That's
you
the
see
thing, and then
whenever
and
you
then
see the word thou,
especially that
whenever you see
frame
the
in
word thou
particular
or
because it's
thy,
so directly
that's
connected
your
to the
culture.
occult and Aleister Crowley and everything else,
That's
and
your culture.
behold the pale
Aleister
horse.
Crowley,
Look,
Aleister Crowley ain't even that old. He lived. He
hey,
was. He just got here.
and
Whenever
you
you
gon'
see
you
the
gonna
word
wear it and
thou or
then play
thy,
dumb like you don't know what it
that's
means to
your
him.
culture. Your culture made thou and thy. So when you see a sentence with thou or thy, that's your culture talking to you. No white guy can ever take that culture from you.
That's
Nobody.
wrong,
No
Leroy.
white.
That
Nobody can take a bird. Nobody can say, I own the owl now. The owl is
thou
mine. The owl is a beautiful
thou
bird.
and thy,
But
that's
God
Greek,
created
man.
an owl.
That's
God
Greek.
created an
I
owl.
mean,
You
but
can't
thou
take an
and
owl
that
from
is just
God.
that's just
I'm gonna do the
old
whole show like
English.
this. I'm gonna do the whole show like this next show.
The one eye represents repairing yourself after trauma.
Okay.
Come on, nobody can take that from you. That
Hey,
represents activating a
See,
third
yeah,
eye.
yeah. Well,
Nobody
see,
can
well,
t-
there.
nobody can
Okay,
take that from you. That's your
so
culture. Your ancestors
yeah,
literally gifted that to you.
but Leroy, that's it. Okay, so here's the thing with that, man. Because in theory, I understand where you're coming from, and I agree. The thing is that as culturally, societally, how public perception wise, the reality that we exist in
You'll
now,
always be the bad guy to the public.
if no, it's that if a symbol is used to determine something else and it's not pushed back against, then eventually that symbol does become the negative a stigma, like the swastika, like the word woke. Woke meant
I get
something
it.
completely different. Now it's been
If
completely
you're
revamped and it means something else, right? So
exactly,
that's
and
the
we
thing
didn't fight
about it.
that. We
And
didn't fight when it
those
got revamped.
symbolisms can change over time. So
It
unfortunately, right now for Jay-Z, when he
yeah,
puts on a shirt that says thou whatever and all this stuff, and the most recent
that's our culture.
acceptance of the symbolism is occult devil worship.
That's our
then it's a
culture.
knock against them when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Like
No,
it's
no. If you
Man,
study,
we
if you
already
study
explained
those
this to
white folks,
Leroy, man. Well, let's not go back
Yeah,
down
let's
that
go.
road
And
again.
let's get ready to wrap. We can do this
uh,
next week. We can do this
if
next
you
week.
stand on your
We're
square
gonna
in
do the we're gonna do the
righteousness,
albums,
you
or
will be
we're gonna
called.
do these albums or these singles or what, man?
We gonna go back to the music because y'all tripping on Snoop. But if you stand on your square in righteousness, the public's not gonna like you. That's just that comes with it. If you stand on your square in righteousness, people are not gonna like you. So
Okay,
you gotta accept that.
real quick. Let me take the
You
music
gotta
real
accept
quick. Let
that.
me take it real quick. I want to say a few things about Snoop. Looking forward to the album. I know Mike's really excited about it. The songs that I heard, I'm not really vibing with. I think from a production, they sound like overproduced records to me. They don't sound like organic records. It seems like they're trying to make something to be classic. It just doesn't sound like a natural album. It sounds much different than the Common and Pete Rock, where even though they were trying, it seems like they were kind of vibing, digging in the crates and making music. This sounds kind of like it has a big Dr. Dre sound. I don't know if the sound is still relevant in 2024, but I'll take a
People
listen
Man,
was
to it on
Dr.
sleeping on
Friday.
Dre,
Common.
Doc, Dr. Dre acting like he producing Justin Timberlake or something right now. I don't know what they doing with that music right
right.
now.
That's a
He
It
yeah,
is.
just
He
don't
yeah.
even
is though.
don't
He
sound right. It ain't
is.
It
connecting, and
sounds
it
too
just
Snoop.
don't.
polished. It sounds too. It sounds like
It's
the
too
Holly.
polished. That's the word,
It
Ron.
sounds
It
like
Snoop.
sounds
it
too
sounds
polished.
like
It's like that.
Calabasas. It sounds like Calabasas and the Hollywood
Right,
Hills.
right. Like
Snoop
the
is
amp,
that.
like the ambrosia, like the sample that he used on that album, where he's pulling from Illmatic and other things. That's even more what I would rather hear from the Snoop perspective. If you're pulling from like NWA references, MC8, if you're pulling from that era to create a more current sound. Right now, the
Gotta be
stuff
there.
that I'm
Gotta be
hearing
there.
sound that
He'll be
I
there.
hope. See, that's the thing. It's like I would think that when you drop 3 or 4 singles, that one of them would be reflective of the callback of what you know
Yeah.
people want to hear from you. You get what I'm saying? And I just feel like every song that they've dropped so far is to your point. It's just one of them songs that could have
Right.
been
I
about.
hear you. I
You
hear you.
know,
But
it
you
could
have
have
to
been from
understand
anybody. That could have been
that
for anybody.
soon as those songs hit the street, 99% of people are gonna love those songs. Cause that
They
that
not
that
loving
is
them
their
now.
vibe.
Nobody loving them
I don't
songs right
know, man.
now.
There's 4 of us on this
They
thing
not
right
loving them
now, and it's
songs,
and
man.
it's an 80
Man.
20 on the percentage
Only
of who
person that
loves them
liked them
songs.
songs is Mike, and Mike just liked them because we grew up on Snoop and Dre. That's the only reason why he
No, but
liked
when you
them.
I
talk
But
mean,
about
me,
a
hey,
polished
me
hip
too.
hop
Like,
sound,
listen, man, me too. I'm not. It hurt my heart to say this shit about Snoop and Dre. Like, I don't. It don't. I'm not like saying this like happily. I'm literally embarrassed for Snoop and Dre right now from them songs. Them songs are horrible. Like, I'm never listening to none of that shit that they drop. So even when I go listen to the album, I'm skipping every last one of them songs that they just the last 3 singles. I'm skipping them anyway. As soon as the album come out.
you're
So
not playing
I,
gorgeous.
I'm skipping that.
You ain't playing gorgeous.
I'm skipping
bro.
that. I'm
You ain't
skipping
riding
that.
with
But
your
what you're
lady playing
saying is,
gorgeous.
I mean, hey,
I just went and got I
maybe
went and
maybe
got
with
some
my
folk.
lady or something, maybe, but no,
Like they're
not
It's
playing.
taking the theme of missionary to literal.
take it
Like
to the
so, if
club.
doggy
Take
style
it to the club and
is
see
the
what happens.
nastiness, the hood shit, the party, the barbecue stuff,
Take
then
it to the party.
missionary is like the next day at church, and then you're going to a fundraiser afterwards or something like that. Like it doesn't fit the vibe from what Snoop and Dre have historically done, and it just
I
sounds
think when
way
it
off.
comes to a body of
I'm
work,
wrong. Like when we
I
listen to
think
that,
when it comes to a
I'm just
body of
literally
work,
waiting for the album, and we'll see how it
Snoop,
plays out then. But right now, it
I think
just
Snoop will knock everybody off the board. I think musically, Snoop knocks everybody off the
But
board
why he ain't knocked us
because
off the board in 3
the
songs though,
sound
Leroy?
has too much range. The sound encompasses just all of music. And when you get a whole album of Snoop, his albums are super solid. They're solid, solid, solid. Meaning you're gonna go through every emotion through that album, like every human emotion you're gonna go
Hey,
through.
I went
to
through
keep it
emotion when I
real,
heard them songs. I went through emotion of boredom. That's the only emotion I went through when
right?
I heard them records, man. That's
Hey,
just me
Play
and to
though.
them
keep it
play
real,
them in a group
yeah,
setting with girls.
hey,
and not
to keep it
positive
real
ones.
too.
But the thing with like, okay, I never want to stunt artists' growth and their artistic direction, right? So I always respect where they're going to come from and what they do, whether I like it or not. But
Right.
sometimes what I don't like about the old heads, respectfully, is that, yo, just give the fans what they fucking want, dog. Like, you got 25, 30 years in the game. You had 25 to 30 years to experiment on everything. You guys are dropping after 20 years and not dropping music, and you want to give us things that you want to experiment with instead of just giving the fans what you know they want. Like Nas and Preem. If Nas and Preem drop an album and it sounds like Hit Boy, and I love the Hit Boy run, or it sounds like something different, we're gonna be like, man, what the fuck is it? Why all of a sudden does Preem want to use an accordion
People told
sample?
me
You
Preem
know
was
what I'm
washed up.
saying? Like, what do
People
you
told
just
me
just
DJ
give us
Premier's
the
washed up.
shit that we want to hear? You know what I mean? Pete
Hip
and
hop
I mean,
heads told me
I
gave
that
us what we
honestly,
DJ
wanted to
Premier's
hear.
washed up.
if I
I
didn't
said
know better,
calling DJ
if
Premier washed up is crazy to me, but
if I didn't know better from listening to these songs, I would have never even thought Dr. Dre produced them songs either. Like I would have
And
never
I
that's
think
even.
one
fair.
of them he
That's fair.
didn't. I think the first one he didn't even
That's fair.
produce. I forgot who was I was in the chat with, but they looked it up and his name wasn't even on it. So that was another weird thing.
That's
Why
fair.
would your first single for a Snoop and Dre album not be a Snoop and Dre song? So even with that rollout, I just like hit
But
people with
LP,
what they
LP,
want first,
and
so there's no
I gave my
skepticism.
top 10. I gave my first five, like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 for album of the year. I'm gonna give my five real quick before we're off the show.
Yeah, go ahead
But
and give
when
me
you
your
talk
five,
about it,
Leroy. Go ahead and give me your five.
I gave five.
Is it
Yeah, I
Y'all
gave
doing
10,
albums or
9, 8
songs?
albums. I gave my 10 through 6 top albums of this year. It was 10 was Vince Staples, Dark Times. 9 was Ka, The Thief Next to Jesus. 8 was Logic. 7 was Rhapsody. And 6 was Master Ace, one of the greatest ever that never gets his flowers.
Give us the top
So that,
five.
Big facts.
Give us the.
so five, I'm gonna go Mock Hami, rich ass Haitian. I'm gonna
That's
go
my
Mock
shit.
Hami. I'm gonna go Mock Hami. The flow is too crazy. The flow is too, and the style
The
of it.
vibe,
We
the
talking about
production. I'm with it. I'm with it.
we talking about Haiti. We talking about he got a revolutionary perspective. His people going through it in Haiti. Whenever Haiti is going through it, I gotta salute that because I know what them islands is about. They on that revolution
he
time,
he's the
even
only
though it's a
one
lot
out of
going on.
that Griselda camp, respectfully, he's the only
Yeah,
one out of the Griselda camp and that vibe that actually tries to speak for something other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
and
where there's more, where he's trying to speak for more, whether you like the style or not, right? Like
right,
Makami is a very particular sound. You might like it or not, whatever. But at least
right,
what he's trying to stand for and what he's speaking on, I can respect it and I appreciate the music. So for me,
and
Mock definitely
And
dropped the top five, top six
he
album.
thinks our music is priceless. He thinks our music is priceless. That's a Nipsey spirit. That's a Nipsey Hustle spirit. What I mean by that is he believes that people should be paying anything. If he puts an album out and it costs $1,000, he believes his art is worth $1,000. That's a Nipsey spirit. And I've been trying to tell artists forever, your music's priceless. Don't let nobody tell you your song is worth 99 cents if you feel like it's worth $100. You feel what your sound is worth. And I appreciate that about Mock. So number 5, I'm gonna go Mock Hami. And then next time I'm gonna go 4, 3, 2, 1. But Mock Hami
I'll give
right
y'all.
now. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna give y'all my 5, and this ain't in no particular order because I haven't gone that far about it yet. But
Right.
for me, I'm gonna say Rock Marcy, Marciology,
Fire.
Freddie Gibbs, You Only Die Once,
Fire.
Bodie James, The Brictionary.
Oh, I don't know about that one.
Man, you tripping on that? I love that album. I love Bodie flow on that. I love how
Boldy, you
I love how
nice.
I love
Boldy,
that. I
you
love that
nice,
whole
but
album, front to back. Like
okay,
that's
okay.
for me. Since it came out, it's been like my favorite album since it came out. Like that's what I've been
Boldy,
reaching
you
back
so
to.
nice with metaphor. Bold, and I know something about metaphor because I'm a
And his
method man.
hooks. Hey, Bodie is
Yes,
very underrated
yes.
for his hooks. Very
You
underrated
so
for his
nice.
hooks.
All you got to do, Boldy, is switch up the tempo sometimes.
Hey,
Just
but
switch it
he
up
actually
sometimes.
did on this album. If you go back and listen
Okay.
to the album again, he really switched
All
up
right,
his
for
flow.
sure.
He sped it up, he slowed it down, he chopped it up. He did do more with his flow on this album, and I like the production on it too.
Fire.
I still listen. I don't care. I still got Killer Mike songs for sinners and saints on there, just because out of all these albums, when I first heard this album, I instantly thought it was album of the year. The rest of these albums kind of grew on me a little bit more, but when I first
Right.
heard the Killer Mike songs for Sinners and Saints, I felt like it was the album of the year. And when I just was going back listening to it and replaying it today, I still really feel like it's still probably the best overall project. Now I know we got to give it some criticism because he did
What's dope?
recycle some songs, and you know what I mean, like he did, you know, paste some shit together a little bit, but
Right.
it's still one of the best sounding albums, and like the concept and everything of the album is still one of the best albums to me so
It's
far
dope.
this year. And Benny and 38 Special, Shot and Stab
Benny
2.
and
I just
30.
love that Shot and Stab 2. I love it back and
Yeah.
forth flows. I like, you know, I mean, it's coke rap, and you know,
I gotta
it
go
is
back.
what it is.
I gotta go back to
down
that one.
But
Because what
I like
about
the back and forth
Summertime
flows
Butch
and the
though?
production. Huh?
Summertime Butch was
I
kind
like
of
this
fire.
one. I like Shot and Stab 2 better than that one.
I got
I
you.
just enjoy it more. I think Benny, you know, Benny by himself, I think he needed 38 Special. They go together real well. You know what I'm saying? Like you get a little bit, I think, because both of them, for one, like whole project wise, you can kind of get a little bit tired of their style depending on like how fire the album may be. So if they not like just dropping fire for a whole album, you can get a little tired of hearing 38 Special by itself, and you can get a little tired of hearing Benny by itself. But together, they work well together, man. So that's them my 5 so far. Them my 5.
That's fire.
No doubt. I'm gonna give you 5, but I'm gonna give my whole list next week. But I still think something coming next week. And I think, hell, man, I might be wrong. This Snoop and Dre might jump to my number 1 after I listen to it on Friday. I doubt it, but
dog.
But right now, I got Common and Pete Rock, the Auditorium Volume 1. I got Lotus, Chez Noir. I got Corday's album Crossroads. That Corday the Corday album was great, and it easily be number 1 on my list. I mean, I've listened to the album like once or twice in the last week, and
that's a good album.
I keep going back to it. I'm gonna go Rock Marciology.
Yeah,
I think that because from a sound standpoint, you know, it's got that sound that I grew up on, and I like, but he kind of put it in modern times, and it took me back to like, you know, back to that element. You know what I mean? It took me back to that.
And he got bars and quotables through the whole album.
Yes, I got it, and that came out early in the year.
Crossbow, that was crazy.
Yes, I got that one, and I got, what else did I have? I think that's it. I got Corday. I got the Mock Homie joint was cool. I got Common and Pete Rock.
Common and Pete Rock, man.
I'm missing something.
The Test of Time. When the Test of Time comes around.
Oh, Killer Mike. I'm going Killer Mike. I'm going Killer Mike's album. Killer Mike's album. I go back to that. That's definitely in the top 10. Definitely in the top 10.
My only thing with Killer Mike is it's a dope album, so I got no problem with the music. But it's so close to Michael that I feel like it's just Michael again.
Really, Leroy, it is, but it's not. Like, it's kind of like
I enjoyed it better than Michael. I enjoyed it better than Michael. I think it's better than Michael.
I think it's better too.
Because I think Michael, he was trying to. I hate to say that because it's hard to quantify what I mean by that. They say, "Oh, what you talking about, Ryan?" I can hear when an artist is trying to make something hit. You know what I'm saying? It's trying to make something dope. This album, as it came out, the last Killer Mike album, it just sounded more natural. It's hard for me to describe what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? But you can hear it. If you listen to enough music, album,
he got a little more street. He got in his street bag on this album, on this newer one. You know what I mean?
I think the production is better too. I think the production is like way better on the new album than on Michael. I think the production on you know, Sinners and Saints, songs for Sinners and Saints, the production is
the production sounds like it fits him a little bit better, and him rhyming on it sounds a little bit different too. You know, it sounded. I think Michael was more of a personal record, and you can kind of hear the emotion in his voice. This one was just straight rapping. He got a lot of personal records on it, but it's more so. It just seems more authentic. You know what I'm saying? It seems like something I would, you know, the real Killer Mike per se. That was Michael, but this is Killer Mike. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna have my whole list next week. But I think that's what it is: Killer Mike, Che Noir, Corday, Rock Marciano, and then Common and Pete Rock. That's what I'm leaning toward now.
It's a lot, man. Like I said, man, that going back and just looking, it's a lot of shit that came out this year that's been pretty fire, man. Like, you know,
sure.
you got to go back to after or before the Kendrick beef start, really, and go back and dig through some of them albums. I mean, like Gunna album was pretty fly too. I like Larry Jones album as well. I mean, it's not in my. I'm just naming these albums. I'm not ranking them or listing them like that, but it was a lot of fire albums that came out there. I mean, even the 21 Savage album. And, you know what I mean? Like,
shit, Soul Burger was dope. Like, Soul Burger was Absol Soul Burger was dope. Let's not forget Absol Soul Burger. That's a dope album, and a lot of people slept on that joint. But let's get out of here, man. We back on our Wednesday thing. We'll be back at it again. I think we're gonna name this show "Agree to Disagree" because we be
agree
agreeing,
to disagree.
We be agreeing.
That's the name of this show. Agree to disagree.
Presented by According to Hip Hop, man. Make sure y'all hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment. I want everybody, if you can, put your top 5 albums, top 10 albums of 2024. And again, y'all can timestamp this. Y'all can screenshot this. I think something big is coming next week, guys. Look at the tea leaves, man. Read between the lines. Open your third eye up. He ain't doing this with
Snoop and Dre.
He ain't doing this.
You said
Snoop and Dre.
You saying J. Cole is gonna be Nas.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see who's right, man. We'll pull up this weekend and we'll pull up next week, man. But make sure you hit like and subscribe.
Like I told the people, man, I'm a Jay. I think Jay is the GOAT. If Nas and Primo drop an album, I may have to reconsider who's the GOAT. I may have to reconsider. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Nas and Primo, that's insanity to me. My brain can't handle that. But
can't take it. With that being said, man, shout out to Super Duper, shout out to LP, shout out to Leroy. I am Prime, aka RKY Ron. We'll see you next week, man. Peace.
Shout out, peace. Jay-Z. We don't step down, we stand up. It's the rock, according to hip hop. Yada.